The iPhone 18 Pro is almost here, and if Apple's ultra-consistent launch history is anything to go by, we can narrow its release date down with surprising accuracy. For more than a decade, Apple has followed a highly predictable September event pattern, shaped by keynote timing, U.S. holidays, and global logistics. By decoding this timeline, we can confidently predict when Apple will unveil the iPhone 18 Pro, when pre-orders will open, and when the device will actually land in stores. In this detailed breakdown, we'll look at Apple's long-term iPhone launch history, the strict September keynote window, how Labor Day quietly controls Apple's schedule expected pre-order, review and release dates, where the iPhone 18 Pro Max and the rumored foldable iPhone 18 Ultra fit in if you're planning to upgrade this year. These dates are the ones to watch. Apple's iPhone launch history. From summer releases to September staples. To understand the iPhone 18 Pro release date, you have to go back to the very beginning of the iPhone timeline. Apple has not always launched its flagship phones in September, but once it made that shift, the company has stuck to it with remarkable discipline. iPhone original announced January 2007 release, June 2007 iPhone 3G, iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4 announced and released in June 2008, 2009, and 2010. Apple initially favored early summer launches, giving developers and carriers time to optimize before the holiday season. Everything changed with the iPhone 4S. iPhone 4S announced October 4, 2011. The last iPhone unveiled during Steve Jobs' lifetime. First iPhone keynote hosted by Tim Cook marked the transition from summer to fall launches. From that point on, Apple locked into a fall schedule for its most important product. Since 2012, the company has positioned its main iPhone announcements in early to mid-September, aligning perfectly with back to school, the start of the tech product cycle, and the long ramp in the holiday shopping. This is the pattern that now anchors the expected release of the iPhone 18 Pro, the strict September window, when Apple reveals new iPhones after the 4S. Apple consistently chose the first half of September for iPhone keynotes. The dates are not random. Year after year, they have landed inside a tight range. From 2012 onwards, iPhone keynotes have virtually always fallen between September 7th and September 14th. There is only one meaningful exception: 2020. The height of COVID-related disruption, the keynote took place on Tuesday, September 15th, just one day outside the usual window. And within this overall pattern, there are two extra rules that Apple has never broken. The main iPhone keynote has never been held before Labor Day. The keynote has never been held on September 11th. This means the September calendar for Apple is narrower than it first appears. When you layer in the effect of Labor Day, the window narrows even more, and that's where the iPhone 18 Pro date starts to come into focus. The Labor Day factor. How a U.S. holiday shapes Apple's global launch. Labor Day in the United States always falls on the first Monday in September, a floating holiday that can land anywhere between September 1st and September 7th. For Apple, this holiday isn't just a long weekend. It's a pivotal planning anchor. Over the past decade, Apple's scheduling has followed a clear set of unwritten rules around it. Apple has never held its September iPhone keynote before Labor Day. Apple has never held its September keynote on the Tuesday immediately after Labor Day. Why? Because that Tuesday is effectively a travel and logistics day. Guests, press, partners, and Apple staff are returning from the holiday weekend. Holding a major global product event on that day will compress travel time, increase risk of disruption, and diminish coverage. Instead, Apple typically aims for a Tuesday or Wednesday keynote, at least 2 days buffer after Labor Day for travel and preparation. Looking back, Apple has shown a strong preference for holding its iPhone events on Tuesdays, with a repeating pattern in 2013, 2014, 2017, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2023, and 2025. Apple scheduled its September keynote exactly 8 days after Labor Day. On a Tuesday, this Labor Day plus 8 inches rule is one of the clearest recurring signals in Apple's calendar. However, it doesn't apply every single year, especially when Labor Day falls on the latest possible date, as it does this year. That's when Apple shifts to a Wednesday event, the 2015 blueprint, why it predicts the 2026 iPhone 18 Pro keynote to forecast the iPhone 18 Pro announcement. The most relevant historical year is 2015. In that year, the calendar aligns with this year in a crucial way. Labor Day in 2015, Monday. September 7th, Labor Day this year, Monday. September 7th. So how did Apple handle the schedule in 2015? Apple held its iPhone keynote on Wednesday, September 9th, 2015. With Labor Day falling as late as September 7th. Holding a Tuesday event just one day later, September 8th, would violate Apple's long-standing practice of avoiding the day immediately after the holiday. Instead, Apple opted for Wednesday, 2 days after Labor Day, preserving travel time while still landing the event in its preferred early September window. This year mirrors that setup almost perfectly. Labor Day, Monday. September 7th, day after Labor Day, Tuesday. A no-go for Apple keynote's earliest realistic keynote slot, Wednesday. September 9, given the 15-year pattern of September iPhone events, the consistent no event before Labor Day. Rule the fact Apple has never used the day immediately after Labor Day. Historical precedent of 2015 with the exact same Labor Day alignment, the most likely iPhone 18 Pro keynote date is Wednesday, September 9 internally. That date is almost certainly already locked on confidential Apple calendars. iPhone 18 Pro pre-order date prediction once the keynote date is fixed. The rest of Apple's timeline tends to fall into place with near clockwork precision. Across recent iPhone generations, Apple has almost always adopted the same structure. Keynote event, new iPhones announced pre-orders. Open typically the following Friday, public release, and in-store sales the Friday of the next week, applying that logic to the expected Wednesday. September 9th keynote, Wednesday, September 9, pre-orders open, Friday. September 11th, Apple typically opens iPhone pre-orders at the same moment around the world. While the time of day can occasionally shift, the recent pattern has been 5 a.m. Pacific Time, PT 8 a.m. Eastern Time, ET, 1 p.m. British Summer Time, BST. The key point, pre-orders open simultaneously worldwide, adjusted for your local time zone. That way, no region gets a deliberate timing advantage. However, it does mean that in Apple's hometown of Cupertino, buyers have to wake up early if they want first pick of color option storage capacities model variants. iPhone 18 Pro versus iPhone 18 Pro Max versus any special edition. Apple sometimes smooths this process by allowing customers to set up their purchase ahead of time. You choose your model, color, and storage in the Apple Store app or website. You add the configuration to your bag or favorites. When pre-orders officially open, you simply check out with a couple of taps. This pre-configuration doesn't technically get you ahead of the queue, but it can shave off crucial seconds and reduce the risk of missing out on your first choice model during the early rush. iOS 27 release. Software launch before hardware. Every major iPhone launch is paired with the general release of a new version of iOS. This year, that's iOS 27. iOS 27 is already in public beta, allowing early adopters and developers to test new features. But the full public rollout always aligns with the new iPhone window and follows a consistent pattern. The final version of iOS typically arrives several days before the new iPhones go on sale. It almost always lands on a Monday. In the week between the keynote and the iPhone's retail launch, based on the projected dates, the likely schedule for iOS 27 is iOS 27 general release, Monday. September 14, there's a small chance this could slip by a day or two. but it will definitely arrive before the iPhone 18 Pro is in stores. Existing iPhone owners will be able to download iOS 27 ahead of hardware availability, experiencing many of the software upgrades without waiting for the new device. Review. Embargo. When iPhone 18 Pro reviews will likely drop, Apple closely manages the timeline for reviews of its flagship products. Typically, the company sends review units to selected media outlets and creators shortly after the keynote. Sets a strict embargo date and time when all reviews can go live simultaneously. This embargo is generally lifted a few days before. The new iPhones go on sale in stores often on a Tuesday or Wednesday of the release week based on the expected dates. Keynote, Wednesday. September 9th iOS 27 release. Monday. September 14th expected in-store release. Friday. September 18th. The review pattern for the iPhone 18 Pro will likely look like this. Review embargo. Lifts. Most likely Wednesday. September 16 Tuesday, September 15th is also possible. But a Wednesday embargo fits better if the keynote is midweek. Why Wednesday is more likely. Reviewers don't get hands-on time or review units until after the keynote. Wednesday embargo maximizes time for proper testing, photography, battery evaluations, and camera comparisons, especially when the keynote itself is on a Wednesday rather than a Tuesday. At that point, expect a flood of in-depth camera comparisons, battery life test benchmarks against previous iPhones, early verdicts on any major new features, like rumored battery and display upgrades, the foldable wildcard, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the rumored iPhone 18 Ultra. The iPhone 18 Pro won't arrive alone. Based on Apple's usual cadence and current industry rumors, we can expect at least two major companions. iPhone 18 Pro Max likely the largest and possibly heaviest iPhone in the lineup, typically features the best camera system, longest battery life, and the highest price tag. Apple's first foldable iPhone, rumored iPhone 18 Ultra. Brand new product category for Apple, expected to be revealed at the same keynote as the iPhone 18 Pro. Actual release date could differ from the standard models. Apple has previously followed a similar announce now. Sell later pattern in 2017. Apple announced the iPhone X alongside the iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus went on sale first. The iPhone X arrived weeks later. Despite sharing the same event, if Apple treats the foldable iPhone as a major new category, it may adopt the same strategy. Announce the foldable iPhone 18 Ultra on Wednesday, September 9th. Release it several weeks after the iPhone 18 Pro and 18 Pro Max, allowing time for final hardware validation, software tuning, supply chain ramp up for a brand new form factor. If production is smooth and Apple wants a unified launch, review embargoes on the foldable could match the timing for the iPhone 18 Pro. That would echo last year's pattern, when reviews for multiple models including iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro Max, and iPhone Air went live together. More likely, though, the foldable's reviews will drop closer to its actual shipment date. Just as with the iPhone X. iPhone 18 Pro release date, when you can actually buy it. The question most buyers care about is simple. When can I get my hands on the iPhone 18 Pro? Using Apple's consistent structure, keynote midweek, pre-orders that same Friday, and general availability the Friday after, we can map out the expected retail launch, with keynote Wednesday, September 9 pre-orders, Friday, September 11. The projected on-sale date for the iPhone 18 Pro is Friday, September 18. This is when the iPhone 18 Pro and likely iPhone 18 Pro Max will be available in Apple stores and partner retailers. Online orders placed on launch day or earlier will start arriving. One important detail, unlike the pre-order time, which is synchronized globally, in-store sales usually begin at 7 a.m. local time. That means Australia and parts of Asia are among the first regions in the world to get the new iPhone. Cities like Los Angeles are among the last. Even though they share the same calendar day. So release date, Friday. September 18 store opening time, typically 7 a.m. local time. Wherever you are, if Apple maintains its usual approach, queues will begin forming outside flagship Apple stores hours before doors open, while online buyers will be refreshing shipment tracking pages to see if they're in the first wave. Final iPhone 18 Pro timeline. Predicted, putting all of Apple's patterns together. The iPhone 18 Pro schedule is likely to look like this. Wednesday, September 9th, iPhone 18 Pro keynote, iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and possibly the foldable iPhone 18 Ultra, announced Friday, September 11, iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max pre-orders. Open expected pre-order time, 5 a.m. PT, 8 a.m. ET, 1 p.m. BST, global simultaneous launch, Monday. September 14th, iOS 27 general release for supported iPhones worldwide, Wednesday. September 16th, likely, iPhone 18 Pro review, embargo lifts, full reviews. Benchmarks and camera tests start rolling out Friday. September 18th, iPhone 18 Pro retail release date in store. Sales begin around 7 a.m. local time in each region online. Pre-orders begin arriving to early buyers even. If Apple surprises with a slightly different keynote day, though all evidence points firmly to September 9th, the on-sale date for the iPhone 18 Pro is still overwhelmingly likely to be Friday, September 18th.